Welcome back into my office. Brian here with you. We're going to do a very brief overview, our weekly overview of some of the highlights of a handful of items that we've cataloged in this past week, starting with this 1863 Paris guide that has this very large hand-colored lithograph map printed on bond paper like so. You see it's in very nice condition, and the map folds up readily like so as issued. There is actually a pocket for it in the rear of this guidebook right here where this inserts in. The book is 1863, monumental book. Says there's 410 design vignettes engraved on wood like so, and this you can see is how it looks inside, nice and clean and tight and sound. Beautiful guidebook. There's also a couple other folding plans like this. This is a great garden plan layout. That's very nice. And yeah, so that's the first item. The second is this small little guidebook to Grotz. It is in fairly rough condition, for the covers are almost detached. It's 1859. It's quite scarce. It has this very nice folding bird's eye engraved view here at the front, which is a nice rich dark impression, well-preserved example. The spine covering on this book is gone. There are some small woodcut illustration vignettes throughout it, like so. And that's how this little item survives. The next item is this little scarce guidebook to Vienna, and that survives like this. The spine paper label is loosely laid inside. I'll show it to you in a moment. This is the underpaper used by the binder, and here is the nice folding city plan that's at the front. It's lithographed, and here we have the title page like so, mit Plan von Wein, and so this has the plan. There are also some of these folding theater cross-section layouts like so, seating plans like this, and even another one here. Here's the spine laid in, so if you wanted to reattach it you could. Some little note paper from an early previous owner. Next item that we've cataloged and is available at the moment is this nice early 20th century guide to Nice and Monaco, the French Riviera, here down along the coastline. And this little guidebook here has a very pleasing folding city plan like so of Nice, like this, color lithographed. And that should fold right back up, and it's really a beautiful, clean example. Nice advertising section at the rear that's fairly extensive, some of it with little pictorial illustrations. All this is the advertising. And here are the contents that show various types of maps and small little views. Yeah, like this, quite a few actually. There's quite a number of these small maps within, like this. Look at them all. They're actually quite interesting. Then next we've got this very nice, probably early 20th century souvenir for Japan. 60 views in this original string binding with this fabric covers. And there's even the original label here for the Fujiya Hotel showroom where it was purchased. But what's nice about this is these all have hand color, and they're really pleasing little views like this here, like street views, which I'm quite partial to. Showing activity and people doing things is always a lot of fun. Look at this, these early automobiles. This is a wonderful little album. Look at this. Yep, very nice, really nice. And the whole album is like this. This is really a gem of an item. I'll flip through it quickly here. A view of Nagasaki. Look at this. Yeah. 60 views. Now, this is also really interesting. This is one of those 19th century color lithographed items that is really rooted in an era. I mean, look at this. This is having to do with Native Americans, these depictions. Only the Kickapoo Indians know how to make Kickapoo Indian sagwa. It's a patent medicine cure. Yeah, wow, it's really a remarkable artifact, this kind of color lithography in the use of promoting patent medicine using the Native American, well, a bit of mythology too, actually, is what it is. Sort of a, yeah. Well, now, next is Headley's Life of Washington in this very pleasing period gilt binding. You'll notice that the cloth has a pattern that when the light reflects, you can sort of catch it. It's a very nice cloth. The gilt is bright, the marbled edges all around. This book does have the large folding panoramic bird's eye view of Mount Vernon, which I'll show you shortly. But as we flip through it, you'll notice that there are quite a number of wood engraved plates that have original hand color on them. Also some plates that are black and white. The frontis is an engraving of George Washington. It's 1859. This book was sold only by subscription, not in bookshops. So this was a door-to-door solicitation item. And I will show you now how that bird's eye survives. It's a very fresh, clean, lovely example on a heavy paper like so. And it folds open like this. And there we have it, almost looking as fresh as when it was issued. Some small minor light foxing, but really trivial. And this is the very fine bird's eye view here. Next we have two separate books, each sold individually because the contents stand alone and we don't have the complete work, so we're selling them so that a person could acquire the stories that interest them. Nice marbled end papers and edges and boards. Beautiful book, really. Nice gilt spine, slightly raised bands, and it is illustrated. This is Thomas Nast, actually, wood engravings. And here's another Nast right there, Mr. Pickwick by Nast. 52 illustrations by Thomas Nast, 1873. And that's the first work that's in here. Nast, of course, was an influential political cartoonist for the Harper's Weekly, and in fact is perhaps most famous, well, he's famous for a number of reasons, but Tammany Hall in New York is one of his great causes that he helped to bring awareness about and bring those politicians to justice, so to speak. And then we've got Old Curiosity Shop bound in with it. Thomas Worth is the wood engraver of this one. And again, you see a nice, clean, tight bound edition, a 19th century book, beautiful for gift giving. Same holds true for this Martin Chuzzlewit and Bleak house. Same sort of clean condition, nice wood engravings throughout. Publisher's catalog at the rear. The title page here. This one has 59 wood engraved illustrations by J. Barnard. And the title page of the second part here is Bleak House with, again, illustrations by Barnard. And at the back here is a small little publisher's catalog. Harper was a major publisher in the 19th century. Beautiful two-volume set here. Records of the Borough of Northampton in England. This was presented to the Northampton, Massachusetts Public Library, who deaccessioned it. God knows what they were thinking or why they would do that. Even today, you would think that they'd want to hold on to something like this, but they did not. And here we have it. And it was actually bound by Birdsall in Northampton. It's stamped right down there. Nice gilt turn-ins. The front joint here of this volume, I'll show you the joints on both volumes because they're slightly scuffed and slightly splitting on the surface. Nothing offensive. The boards are still well attached, but it should be pointed out so that you know. There's not more than 100 large paper copies. This is number 54. The title page is in fact perforated with the library's acquisition stamp. And here we have a tinted lithographic frontis, again 1898, like so, with another perforated title like this. But then we basically get into, it's very clean. The set was never really circulated, obviously, because it was a presentation deluxe binding. This is very likely a one-of-a-kind binding on this work. And the second volume, large heavy books like this. The second volume joint is a little bit more pronounced for slight cracking here. The cover is still well attached, but it's worth pointing out. I want to be very clear. Top edge is gilt, deckled edges slightly like this. I just want to be really clear about that. And here we have the second title page like so, and like this. Again, a limitation. And at the rear of this set is this large folding. This is quite large. This large folding map here like so that has a split here. It's backed on linen, likely by the binder specifically for this special presentation example. Chances are other examples of this set, which I have not seen, so I can't be sure of it, but chances are the maps are not linen backed. And then we'll fold this right up like this. It's on an inset tab as issued. Okay, like that. Which brings us now to one of our final items, which is this 1885 Atlas. It's B3543 if you're looking for it on our website. It's a nice, clean example. It's got an 1885 inscription in it. 1884 on the title page. It is complete. Here's a list of contents like so. Nice little principal comparison heights of buildings around the world, a flag plate, a comparison of animals, and God knows what. Here's the solar system. And this comparison was quite the rage in the 19th century, to compare all sorts of things in graphs and charts and diagrams. Compare the output, compare the consumption, compare the populations, the religions, on and on. Let's just compare. And we'll see here that all of the maps are color throughout. They're printed on both sides. Here are the stereotypical ethnographic types of people in the four quarters of the globe. And there is some damp staining down here that's in the blank margin. That is basically all but invisible unless you look at the corner, the edge rather, of the text block. There's a double page of Texas. The double page maps are folded in the center. They're not two sheets like so. And at the back is an extensive index like this with various historical discussions and diagrams, charts. And so that's how this survives. And there we have it. That is our brief roundup, overview of just some highlights of the past week. And we look forward to talking with you again soon. Okay, thanks for now.